So we're going to talk a lot today about this vibrational reality, about this vortex of creation. And we really want to emphasize the way law of attraction gathers all cooperative components of everything that you've been asking for. Immediately, all of the things that you want, that you've been wanting for a while, have already assembled. And all that's necessary is for you to get into this vortex, up to speed with this vibration, where you will then see the clear path. Then you will then have the rendezvous. You will then have access to the immediate manifestation of what you've been asking for. But as long as you're outside the vortex, then you're banging around, doing it the hard way, trying to make things happen through words and action, without the experience of this cooperative universe. This is the energy that creates worlds. It's really worth syncing up with, you see. So, we are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. Nothing is off limits. You will notice a very nice unfolding. Sometimes others will ask your question even better than you might. Sometimes it's easier for you to get into the vortex if you're sitting out there rather than sitting right here. In any case, we know what's in your vortex because the vibrational reality has assembled before you dragged your physical bodies here. And so we'll have a wonderful day together where whatever it is you're wanting to understand, it is our promise to you that we will express it several times. The question is, will you hear it? And the answer to that is, you will if you're in the vortex. So that's why we spin our web up here. We talk to you about who you are. We remind you of your worthiness. We talk about what life is like from inside the vortex. Because if we have any value to you, it is only one thing. Calling you into the vortex is really the only value that we have for you. If we can help you to shift your vibration, your manifestations must shift. Because every manifestation that you're living, whether it's money in the bank or relationships in your life, the material things that have made their way into your experience, every manifestation that you are living is but an indication of your vibration. And when you take a little time, and it really only takes a little time, you'll see as we move forward here today, when you take a little time to move your vibration just a little bit, to feel just a little better, to shift your expectation just a little bit, when you shift your vibration, everything in the universe responds differently to you because now you have a different point of attraction. So that is our wish for you today, that you are able to find a new and improved point of attraction. Not because yours is lacking in some way, but because it is the eternal quest of all that is to reach for the new vantage point and line up with it. It is the promise of eternity. So, what do you want to talk about? Some things. I'm going to have a very good unfolding today. Right here. So, we bring up this trail of thought because a trail of thought really is what your beliefs are about. A belief is only a thought you keep thinking, but we want to add a new phrase to that statement that you've been hearing us offer for a while. A belief is a vibration that you continue to activate for some reason. In other words, while Jerry and Esther have not thought about those particular people in a long time, that's still an active part of their life experience, as is most everyone's past an active part of your experience. Esther laughs as they drive in the monster bus across this nation. It is a rare road that they're on that Jerry doesn't have some memory about. Because he traveled as an entertainer, he traveled by car, he traveled all of the roads of this nation. And nearly all of the roads that he traveled, Jerry and Esther are still traveling. So he remembers that motel. He remembers what happened at that gas station. He remembers the people that lived in this town. And while most of it feels good when he reactivates it, every time you activate something from the past, you run the risk, and we don't mean to sound warning, we just can't find a better word of explaining. There is the potential of this activation because of this past experience not jiving with what's going on now. For example, When you go home for a vacation, home to your early roots, when you go back to visit your parents or the town that you grew up in or the people from your beginning, even if they're not still living where you lived, when you go back to those people, don't you find yourself beginning to behave like you did the last time you were there? Often. Because those familiar faces and places, the familiar food that they're eating, the familiar things that they think about, the familiar family albums that they get out, the familiar vibration of what that was is activated within you when you turn your attention to it. Whether you go there or not, or whether you just think about having been there. In other words, when you turn your attention homeward, so to speak, homeward to your physical family roots, you activate the vibration of that, and if you feel love and joy and friskiness when you're doing that, that means that those thoughts that are activating are blending with the most further extension of who you are, and all is really well. But if you feel irritated, if you feel ornery about it, if you feel lonely or homesick, if you get those nostalgic feelings that so often you associate with home, what that means is that thought activated something so far from who you now are that there is a discord within you. Esther said, after a while of understanding this, now I know what homesick means. Home makes you sick. And we mean that too, in the sense that when you activate those memories of when you felt less secure, or when someone didn't approve of you, or before you had figured out who you are, it's a very common thing for you to activate just by turning your attention to something that doesn't jive with who you are. But you don't have to go back home or back into your memory to do that. All day, every day, the thoughts you are focused upon, whether it is past, present, or future, whether it is a person, whether it is a place, whether it is a thing, whether it is a philosophy, whether it is an economy, whether it is a government, it doesn't matter what you've turned your attention to. It is certain that whatever it is, you're getting play-by-play feedback about whether this activated thought that you've got going on is beneficial or detrimental to you. Because your life has caused you to reach into new places. And then all day, every day, you've got this measurement going on to see how well you're reaching into the new place that life caused you to reach to. The best way of saying it is life has caused you to expand. The larger part of you, the inner being of you, has already taken that vibrational leap forward. And if you don't bring the rest of you along, then you feel the discord and you don't feel good. In short, if you are to live the joyful life that you have come forth to live, you've got to keep up with you. And we don't know any of you who can keep up with you when you're looking back. If we were standing in your physical shoes, we would spend so little time looking into the past, it would be as if we were born today. We would spend so little time thinking about anything that had happened before, because everything that happened before your frequency was where it now is. So you're just almost certain of bringing discord to yourself by activating that. Now, we know good things happened in the past, and we know that you can selectively sift through it and find those good things. But you are forward-looking beings. It's one of the reasons that you just don't stay in these physical bodies very long. You don't stay in these bodies very long because you get so enamored with the path that you have walked upon that you want to record it for all to hear. And when you do, it holds you back. It holds you back from where you're going. It keeps you from being who you really are. It's not good for you, so stop it. Or not. Whatever you want is fine. There are no rules to this game of life. There's just an incessant quest that is within you, and that is to feel good. And we're just letting you know why when you don't feel good, what's going on, and why when you do feel good, what's going on. And it is our desire, as we chew together in the hours that are before us, that you leave this gathering with a revived decision that nothing is more important than that you feel good, and you're going to look for love in the places where it is. There are so many people looking for love in all the wrong places. And we want you to understand that where it is forward looking. Where it is where the whole of you is. Where it is where the source that is within you has evolved to because of what you have lived. We have to make a very strong statement here. If life had not caused you to become more, you would not feel uncomfortable when you don't become it. You got to keep up with you. You just got to keep up with you. You just got to keep up with you, you see. There is never, ever an injustice that is done ever, 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 ever. But there are plenty of times that you get something different than what you want. But when you get something different from what you want, it's not because an injustice has occurred. It's because you've got a different dominant vibration than your own desire. Don't you love knowing that? Not so much. So what it means is, it's important for you to relax in whatever's happening and accept. That's the most important thing. Accept that whatever's happening, whatever it is, whatever is manifesting is an indication of what? An indication of your vibrational balance. An indication of your vibrational balance. An indication of your vibrational balance. So not only do you have the benefit of emotions that let you know how you're doing pre-manifestationally, but you have stuff showing up that is your indicator of your vibrational mix post-manifestationally. So Esther's first knee-jerk response was, that's just fine. This campground has been a pain in the... Yeah. For the entire 7, 8, 9 years we've been coming here. They never promised to give me what I want. And we say, you really don't want to need promises and confirmations from other humans, especially those who have a lot of other campers to please. You really don't want to depend on someone else's promise for the way your life turns out. You want to depend upon your vibration over which you have complete control. So we'll be talking today about anything that you want to talk about. We're eager to talk about whatever it is. But we want to give you fair warning that we have complete awareness of what you have already amassed over here in your, what we are calling vibrational reality. What we are calling this vortex of creation, where all things that match your desire have been assembled. All cooperative components have been assembled. The question is, are you a cooperative component? And if you're worried about something, if you're frustrated about something, as Esther thinks back, the few times that her mind moved in the direction of where they were parking the bus, she has to acknowledge that she thought about it from the I know what I don't want standpoint no more than she did I know what I do want. They're also under an acorn tree. More machine gun fire. And so when they go to move the bus, it's necessary that they find a ladder taller than any one you've ever seen to climb up on top of the bus to sweep off the extended rooms, because they can't bring them in when there are nuts on the top of the bus. So as Esther is hearing the nuts falling, she is remembering how much she didn't like hearing them falling last time. And she is remembering how specific she was about not wanting to be under the falling nut tree again. And she is remembering that she had the experience, didn't like most of it, got in the bus and drove away and never thought about it again until she returned. In other words, no effort whatsoever about cleaning up vibration. Just living it, complaining about it, not liking it, feeling the injustice of it, threatening to cut the tree down herself. It's a really big tree. And then driving away, not returning to that thought vibration, but leaving it right where it was, waiting for her. So the people who are establishing the new assignment are inspired by the power of her vibration to put her right there on that spot where she belongs.